Welcome everyone to Heal, to Breaking Barriers, Busting Myths, and bringing you tomorrow's healing technology today. And I really am very, very excited and honored to be with these two esteemed guests who you have heard from before on Heal. So we have David Schmidt from LifeWave, our VIP major sponsor. Thank you so much. And Dr. Leonardo Gonzalez, also a sponsor, who is the who heads up the International Stem Cell Institute. And by the way, people are dubbing me the stem cell queen now because I'm so interested and have understood how important both your technologies respectively have changed my life and actually saved Daniel's life. So for everybody who is here, I am bringing you the people that we back 100% to be some of the best in the world. So obviously, I'm really honored to be here with you both. What I'd love to do is delve into the fascinating intersection of your pioneering work in the field of regenerative medicine. David, do you call LifeWave regenerative medicine?
I would say that we really refer to it as a new type of light therapy because regenerative medicine, that term would come with some regulatory issues with the FDA and the FTC. So we're regulated as a general wellness product. And so this is a light therapy product for improving overall wellness in the body. And I think that makes a great complement to regenerative medicine.
Okay, well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I wanted you two to get together. And so Dr. Gonzalez, as the innovator in regenerative medicine and the Chief Medical Officer of the International Stem Cell Institute, your combined insights are going to provide a comprehensive understanding of the future of wellness products and regenerative medicine. So thank you both for joining us. So let's begin by discussing how your innovative approaches complement each other and the potential synergies that can arise from combining your technologies. And I know that this people might be going, well, hang on, how can this possibly happen with a wellness product and the regenerative medicine, the stem cell doctor? But Dr. Gonzalez, when we were in Colombia with you, and you were transplanting 150 million stem cells into Daniel's brain, you were also telling us that you give people the LifeWave stem cell the LifeWave technology, wellness technology, to your patients afterwards. And so you're actually both really working together now without even knowing it. David, you've developed the LifeWave patches that stimulate the body's copper peptide. And Dr. Gonzalez, you lead advanced stem cell therapies at the International Stem Cell Institute. How do you see these two methods complementing each other in advancing health and wellness? I'm just going to leave it up to you guys.
I can start, Dr. Gonzalez, if you like. I think what I would say, I think what I would say is that it would be important for anyone to establish a proper foundation for their health. So this would include regular exercise, a healthy diet, proper sleep, hydration, supplementation where needed. And this will improve the success rate of using stem cell technology. One very, very practical example would be that we know stem cells are attracted to inflammatory cytokines. They go to the site of an injury. Well, if someone does not have control over the inflammatory process with aging, it's a term now called inflammaging, and this describes the process where the mitochondria no longer functions as properly as it should. The body does not produce enough internal antioxidants, and oxidative stress and inflammation will overwhelm the body. And this dramatically inhibits the ability of stem cells to do their job. So if we can have people develop a proper foundation and then use tools like LifeWave, then the work that Dr. Gonzalez is doing is going to be so much more beneficial for those patients. That would
Yeah.
be my perspective.
Yeah, Dr. Gonzalez, please, you've got the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Yeah, I totally agree with you. So basically, having a functional integrative approach, for treating any type of condition, especially chronic conditions, is the best way to actually treat a patient. So as David mentioned, having this opportunity to treat the patient in a integrative way, including diet, exercise, stress management, the sleep management, all these things, including, biohacking, because I think basically, when we work with the mitochondria health, with the cell therapy, with cell health, and everything that has to do with the inner function of our bodies, we're actually doing biohacking. And that's the way that I see, LifeWave therapy, because basically, it's complementary in a way that sets up a good way for the cells to do their job. And also, by stimulating, the mitochondria health and the mitochondrial function, the stem cells are going to have more energy itself to do their job. And also, it's going to be easier for them to repair and to regenerate the tissue that has been damaged by the inflammation.
Okay, so this is not in my questions, but one of the things that I'm interested in is, and I heard the other day that if you put a lot of people in the United States and other countries are using old stem cells, or they're using our own stem cells to go into the body. But then let's say, for instance, if they take my stem cells out, these are 70-year-old stem cells. They're not going to do the same thing as what your technology does, David, because your technology isn't about, creating, putting into our system something that is going to change everything. Your system's about, it's actually, it actually is about light rather than another thing, right? So how deep does the light go? I mean, I've got to ask this question because the stem cells that Dr. Gonzalez works with goes deep into the body, and they're new. And I'd love you to describe that in a moment, Dr. Gonzalez, about these new stem cells. But David, what you're doing with LifeWave, it's really activating a process, and I might get this wrong, and you're activating a process that everything is new. Like, it's not about taking something that's old within an old body.
Well, sort of, kind of, right? So we would say that Dr. Gonzalez is on the cutting edge, and no question that stem cell injections are going to be the future of regenerative medicine, and also in terms of longevity. So we can think of where this is going when people can get an injection of stem cells on a regular basis. This would be, I imagine, very expensive for most people. But in the future, you can get a regular injection of youthful stem cells, let's say the equivalent of 25 years old. Now they're replacing older stem cells. And this is an amazing technology for youth and regeneration. In the meantime, we have the LifeWave patches. And the reason why they're going to complement stem cell injections so well is that when we elevate copper peptide is a very powerful gene modulator and can reset about 1/3 of the human genome. We've done some research in looking at telomere lengthening. And the length of telomeres is strongly correlated to biological age. So someone could have a chronological age of 70, but their biological age could be, 40, 50, 30, depending on telomere length. So the idea is that if we can chronically elevate copper peptide, then we can start to get the cells to function like younger, healthier cells. And this, of course, is going to be an enormous support mechanism for stem cell injections.
Yeah, this is fabulous. I think that you actually understood this all along, didn't you, Dr. Gonzalez?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we always were looking, to find, different complementary therapies for the stem cells to actually do a better job. And of course, having the opportunity to work with the mitochondria health, and by increasing the copper peptide, and like David mentioned, by actually working within the human genome, it's something that it takes cellular therapy to the next level, because basically we're gonna be able to prepare the body to receive the stem cells, and also we're gonna be able to work after we transplant the stem cells into the patients by improving mitochondrial health, and that way the results are going to be amazing, and that's basically what we're seeing.
I was going to just ask you, how do your stem cell therapies work with damaged tissue, like into promoting health and well-being? It's almost like there's a how can I put this? I just love talking to you guys, but I'm getting tongue-tied because I'm right. So Dr. Gonzalez, the first thing I'd love you to do is just tell everybody why the stem cell therapy and treatment that you do is very different from what's happening in the rest of the world, really. I've asked you this question before, and I love the fact that you're talking about Wharton's jelly and umbilical cords, and where you get these pristine stem cells from.
Okay, thank you. So basically, the main difference between what most regenerative medicine clinics and doctors are doing is the way that we're delivering the stem cells. That's the main difference, because we're actually targeting the damaged tissue. We're targeting the damaged organ directly. Most clinics and most doctors, they actually do like a IV infusion, a systemic administration. But in my case, what we do is that we target specific organs. So if we have something going on in the brain, we do an arterial catheterization into the brain. So basically, we are able to inject the cells directly into the blood circulation of the brain. And that's going to make sure that all the cells are being infused into the brain, and they're not going anywhere else. So that's the main difference. Yeah, but we also have the capability of expanding, multiplying the stem cells. So basically, we can extract a few hundred thousand cells from the umbilical cord, specifically from the Wharton's jelly, and then we can culture those stem cells, and we can multiply them and get hundreds of millions. And of course, by getting hundreds of millions, we can get all that power together, and the results are of course 100,000 times better than when you don't have the possibility of expanding the stem cells.
And what most people don't do, expand the stem cells like you do.
Especially here in the US and some other countries. But, like I said, the main difference is the way that we apply, that we inject the stem cells.
Yeah. I have to ask this: how do your respective technologies address chronic diseases and aging? So LifeWave, I know we're not allowed to say we address chronic diseases on any level, but we do address aging, right? Are we allowed to talk about that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I would say first, when a person is interested in stem cell technology, in LifeWave technology, again, I would go back to this foundation of do everything that you can in your life to establish this foundation of regular exercise, healthy diet, and proper amounts of sleep, because it makes an enormous difference. If we look at some of the wonderful things that we can include in our diet, like olive oil or avocados, which are rich in monounsaturated fats, it's stated that perhaps most of the benefits of the Mediterranean diet are found from olive oil. because olive oil will turn on two of the sirtuin genes, which are related to longevity, as well as the oleuropein content and the polyphenol content will act to suppress inflammation. So if I were going to go for a stem cell injection, I would want to make sure that I'm doing everything possible to get the inflammation in my body under control, so the stem cells can be more effective. So then when we apply something like LifeWave, let's use the X39 patch and the Eon patch as examples. What these products are going to do is upregulate mitochondrial function. This is going to improve the total amount of energy in the cell, and that means now our body is going to do things better, such as recovering after exercise, recovering from an injury, improving the quality of sleep, and even improving strength and stamina. Our Eon patch acts like a broad spectrum anti-inflammatory and is going to help in the process of managing inflammatory stress. Individuals that are suffering with any type of acute or chronic pain, when they use the Eon patch, will feel that within 10, 15, 20 minutes. So this is why these products are such a great complement to stem cell therapy, because they help improve the mitochondrial function. So this improves the way the cell does things, improves protein synthesis, and then helps to manage that inflammation so the stem cells can do their job.
Well, it feels like, just listening to you both, inflammation is the big killer, really. Would you say that that's correct? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, basically every pathological process in the body starts with inflammation. That's the first step for, any chronic disease, for any acute condition. So that's why, managing inflammation, like with the LifeWave therapy, before we do the therapy, the cell therapy, and then using the same technology to treat the patient after we do the cell therapy, it's a game, it's a winner, right? Basically, because we're going to be able to, just manage the cost at the beginning, and then we're going to improve the health of the cells. And also, my belief is, like, the patches, the X39, for example, it will improve also the viability and the function of the stem cells that we're transplanting. Because I think, that light therapy is going to be able to affect also the new stem cells that are being infused into the patient.
Oh, this is a great subject. Do you see that happening, that the light therapy is going to actually really help the brand new stem cells that are in the body?
I believe so. I mean, I don't think why not. If they're going to be able to work with the own body cells, they have to be able to actually affect also the new stem cells.
Yeah, I guess how deep, this might sound like a weird question, but how deep does the light go from the patches? Like, when we're talking about light therapy, like, does it just go in the skin, or does it go right through the whole body? I've had so many people say to me, but how deep? Like, what's this light all about?
Okay, so the first thing is we should think about the patches as a communications device, and the communication channel is light. So U.S. military has used light for communication, site-to-site laser communication, for decades now. So you send out a beam of infrared light, you modulate it with information, and then the person at the other end receives it and can understand an intelligent signal. But it's all about communication. So in this particular case, there are bundles of nerves on the surface of the skin. There's, of course, acupuncture points as well. But basically, we only need to be able to stimulate the nerve bundles on the surface of the skin, and then those signals will basically transmit throughout the entire body. And the reason why we know this is that we have studies where we take blood and urine samples, and within 24 hours, we can see statistically significant changes in the blood and urine. So we know that it's a systemic effect, even though it's very localized stimulation. The other thing that we've done is we've used a variety of bioelectrical techniques. So we've used techniques such as interstitial scanning, surface electromyography, physio suites with EEG, heart rate variability. So we've used bioelectrical techniques to measure, again, that even though you're only stimulating a very small area of the skin, that signal travels throughout the body and has a significant impact. So this means that we can apply the patch just about anywhere, and we're going to get holistic benefits from it.
Wow. Dr. Gonzalez, I would love you to share a success story where patients have experienced remarkable improvement from your technology. I'm living with a man who is a combination of the two of you. Like, he's been wearing the patches 5 years. He's just had well, 2 months ago, been in Colombia with you. So I know I see the improvement. I see what's going on. But you told me a story when we were in Colombia about a young boy and who was born with, like, the oxygen didn't get to his brain. And you told me this story that really affected me. Could you talk about that?
Okay, yes. So basically, this was a young boy. He was actually turning 5 when I started training him. He had cerebral palsy because basically when he was being delivered, something happened during the delivery, and oxygen lack into his brain and affected a big area of one of the hemispheres. So basically, when he came to me, he wasn't able to talk. Basically, he couldn't walk, and he wasn't able to actually move his arms just a little bit. And basically, we started doing intraarterial injections into the brain in combination with intrathecal injections of stem cells. And we were actually transplanting a very good number of cells. Basically, like the very first treatment, we did 300 million stem cells in combination between the brain and the spinal cord. And then the second time, which was 3 months later, we did 500. And after these 2 treatments, basically within 4 months, he started to move his legs. He was being able to stand. And like 2 months later, so basically 6 months after the treatment, he was able to walk with a walker. And of course, he was actually moving his arm. He started playing video games. He was able to, go to school. He kept, learning and speaking more and talking to, his parents and being more active at school. So basically, it was an amazing case that, we saw the results so quickly that, it's incredible.
I love that story. I know that you said you saw the results so quickly, and yet you're talking months. And David, I get this all of the time. When I'm sharing the stem cell, gee, I'm so sorry. That's just a habit now. And I'm talking to the stem cell doctor. When I'm sharing the LifeWave technology, people seem to think that within a day, all of a sudden they're going to be completely different. And I keep saying to them, you've got to give these patches the respect and the time they deserve, because each body is different. Like with Daniel, Dr. Gonzalez, he's improving as the months go by, as the child did. So if people are expecting the LifeWave technology to act immediately to make major changes, because I know that the LifeWave technology does make major changes in our body, in our lives. I've seen them, I've witnessed them, I've heard about them. What would you say to people who are saying they think it should be happening instantly?
So first of all, there are instantaneous, or you'd say near instantaneous, changes that occur, and they're measurable. So let's say within the first 20 minutes of using the product, people can experience a reduction in pain if they've been suffering with an acute or chronic pain. So certainly there's those effects. Within 24 hours, we can see changes in the biochemistry of the body. Within a week, we can see improvements in the body's energy systems, improvement in sleep, and some other measures of health and wellness. Cognition will improve. And then over a period of, let's say, 3 to 6 weeks, we see some significant improvements in the brain. So in terms of the speed of processing, short-term memory, all these measures are improving within about 3 to 6 weeks. So the way I would look at this is if someone was going to embark on a program of exercise so that they could lose weight and they were going to make some dietary changes, sure, they're going to see some benefits going in the right direction within the first 30 days. But probably more realistically, they need to think about this long term, like a 3-month or a 6-month program, to really get physically in shape and lose unwanted body fat. It takes time for the body to make major changes. So, but with daily consistent effort, those changes can occur.
Yeah, that's because I hear people say, I didn't feel a thing. And I'm thinking, well, can you actually feel copper peptide being elevated in your bloodstream? You know, like, I'm
Right.
asking. And I think too, with the same with the stem cell therapy, Dr. Gonzalez, people might not have an instant, you know, they might not think, hang on a minute, I thought my knee was meant to be great now. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen in that time of treatment, correct?
Correct. Yes. No, I mean, of course, it's a process, and the whole regeneration process take time, you know, and we also explain the patients, you know, that the whole process takes between 4 and 6 months, and that's something that of course, you know, we follow up with the patients and explain to them, you know, everything that they experiencing and how they're going to be able to see some of the improvements, how they're going to have to be patient to actually start seeing, you know, the big improvements, and also to know that they may be able to see something that they were not expecting to see, because that's something that we see all the time. You know, we're treating the brain, and out of the sudden they forget about a pain that they have in the knee or in the back.
Yeah. So one of the things that I want everybody to understand about these two men, that they're dedicated to the research and innovation of health and wellness and helping to end humanity's suffer. That's why I hope you're all as excited about being here with Dr. Gonzalez and David Schmidt as I am. So I'd love to know, what are some of the most exciting advancements in your respective fields that you are currently working on? Now, you might not want to tell us anything specifically, but I think I understand that both of you are never going to stop innovating. Both of you are never going to stop researching, right? So is there anything in your respective fields that would really see the future of health and medicine evolving with the integration of light and stimulated and advanced stem cell therapies with other things that you're doing? Dr. Gonzalez, let's start with you. Have you got anything?
Okay, so yeah, I think probably the most important thing that we're working on is in trying to integrate gene therapy with cell therapy, because basically both of these therapies right now are very expensive. You know, gene therapy is way more expensive, but if we're able to combine and to integrate these two type of therapies, we're going to be able to cut the cost down, especially for gene therapy, and that's something that of course we're trying to work, you know, within the research projects that we're doing.
Wow. See, we are looking at the future of wellness already. David.
Oh, well, I'd say for the past 14 years, we've been investigating technology that could have an impact on human longevity, and we've made some, I think, remarkable discoveries in the past 6 years. So what we do is we look at species that functionally do not age, and then we look at using spectrophotometry. We look at the light emission from these species to determine what type of codes exist in these living organisms. In other words, where they emit light in predictable patterns that can have favorable outcomes on gene expression that can give us a hint into why these organisms are able to defy aging, whereas human beings can't. So we've been developing technology. It's a field of science called biomimetics, where we observe something in a living system, and then we mimic that in a technological process. And we're extremely excited about this because it potentially means that we can make dramatic improvements in people's health span and their lifespan.
So this is something we've actually got to look forward to.
Absolutely,
Or
without question.
Great. And I understand that David can't talk about this yet, Dr. Gonzalez, as openly as you, because there's still clinical testing going on, and it's his 20th anniversary. Now, you've been in the industry for like 25 years too, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes. So we've got two masters sitting with us, and I know that this was meant to be half an hour only, and we're at that time. So I mean, truly, I've got like a million more questions, but I will respect your time together and just say thank you. I know that people will want more of you, and more information and more everything. So I will make sure that Dr. Gonzalez, all of your information is up. And David, for people to want to know more about LifeWave at this stage, please feel free to connect with me or the person who actually invited you into the HEAL experience, because we know that there is so much more for all of us. I am truly excited about where humanity is going now. Like, there's so many things happening on the planet that are not right. And yet when we focus in with you both, there's a lot that is right. And I just want to thank you so much.
Thank you. Been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Yes, it's been a pleasure too.